It's your boy Simply Food by TY. Look, today you guys, we are going to be heading back in the kitchen yet again, honey, and we are going to be making my smothered chicken with onion gravy. So let's go into the kitchen and let's get to cooking, okay?
Do I have your attention? 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 Do I have your attention?
Is you taking notes?
Okay, you guys, so let's go over the ingredients. So what we have is a can of cream of chicken, cream of mushroom, Lawry seasonal salt, garlic powder, onion powder, parsley, black pepper, 1 large onion, and I have about a half a pound to 2 pounds of chicken legs. By all means, you can use chicken thighs, chicken breasts, whatever type of chicken you would like. Beyond that, let's jump into this video. Okay, you guys, so what we're focusing on right now is getting our meat nice and seasoned. So, you know, when it comes to cooking soul food and Southern cooking in general, I tend to not really use measuring utensils because for me, it's all about eyeing the food. As long as whatever your poultry is, or in general, any meat, as long as you know that it's completely covered in the seasoning, that's all you have to worry about. If you're still kind of stressing out, I say use about 1.5 to 2 tablespoons of each of the following seasonings to cover the entire board, then flip it over and repeat that process. That's your onion powder, your garlic powder, your seasonal salt, and then we'll use that parsley a little bit later, and of course the black pepper. But you know, just make sure that it is completely covered in the seasoning, and I promise you, you will always be fine. In the end, you may need to add more salt if you're not used to it yet, but at least you know your food will be completely seasoned throughout the entire dish. Okay, you guys, so right now all we're going to do is just add our chicken to our pan. Like I said, if you're using chicken thighs, chicken breasts, chicken wings, that is completely up to you. I will not be adding any extra liquid to this. Of course, you know, when you wash your chicken, it's already naturally going to retain the water from that. And then, of course, the water that's within the raw chicken itself. So don't worry about adding any extra liquid because that'll be taken care of with that beautiful onion gravy that we'll be working on in just a few moments. But for now, we need to go on ahead and get our onions chopped up. Now, if you are an onion lover, by all means, use more than one. I am not the biggest onion fan, but I do feel like the dish calls for onions. So I'm honestly only going to use 1/2, and then I'm going to use half of the other half, if that makes any sense at all. Just because I just don't feel like it needs that many onions. And I like to chop them into, you know, pretty decent sized slithers. Just because that way, if I don't want to deal with the onions, then I kind of don't have to. You know, I can kind of just push it to the side if I don't want it in every single bite. To where if you finally mince it up, then it's mixed throughout the entire dish. But like I said, if you and your family love onions, honey, by all means, feel free to add yourself 2 or 3. That is completely fine. But just know that this was about a small to medium-sized sweet onion, and I left about that much left. So about half of the other half I put to the side. So now all you're going to do is just add your onions directly to the top of your chicken. And then after that, what we're going to be doing is I like to add 3 tablespoons of butter to the top. It just adds a bit of creaminess to the broth because that broth is going to come in handy a little bit later. Wrap that up, pop it in the oven at 350 degrees for roughly about, I say about an hour and a half. So now that our chicken has been baking for about an hour and a half, what we're going to do now is take all of that beautiful chicken broth resting at the bottom of your pan, and we're going to carefully pour that into a separate bowl because that broth is going to be the base for our onion gravy that we're going to be making in a few moments. That's a key step, so just make sure you're really careful when you're trying to pour off all of that chicken broth. Okay, you guys, so now we are working on probably the most important step of this entire recipe, and that is making the roux. So we have 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter melted, and I'm now adding in 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. Now, once again, a roux is extremely important, and honestly, it does take a lot of people time to learn how to make a proper roux, which is the reason why I'm not going to speed up any of this, because I want you guys to see the full process. But in my personal opinion, there are 3 stages to making a roux when it comes to the color. You have a white roux, which is what you would use for like, let's say biscuits and gravy. You have your caramel roux, which is slightly on the browner side, which you would use for your chicken, your pork chops and gravy. And then if you let it go even further, it'll turn dark, which is what you would use for like a hamburger and gravy. That's not what we're doing here. Today, we're going for that light brown, slightly caramel, because of course we're preparing chicken. The main thing is to make sure that you are constantly stirring. If you let it sit for too long, that flour is going to burn at the bottom and it is going to be completely ruined. But as you can see, look how nice and smooth that is. That is a smooth roux, which means your gravy in the end will also be nice and smooth. So, just keep on mixing it around. And I have it on about a medium to low temperature. You don't want it up too high or it will cook way too fast. And ain't nobody got time for that. So then the next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to add in all of our lovely broth from the chicken that we took out of the oven earlier. Now, just a heads up about that. If you feel like your chicken did not produce that much liquid, honey, that is completely fine. Get yourself a box of chicken broth and just add some more to it. That was roughly about a cup and a half what I got out of it. But if you want a lot of gravy, by all means, just add more to it. So what you're going to do is crank that heat back up now and let this slightly come to a simmer. It's going to start to thicken, and just keep an eye on it just to make sure that it is not thickening it up too quickly, because if so, then you do want to add some more chicken broth just to make sure that it doesn't burn on you. Baby, do y'all see that? Look at how smooth that is. You guys, that is nothing like that right there would be the most basic chicken gravy, but already with that step alone, you've already made yourself gravy. That was nothing but the butter, the flour, and the broth, but you saw how extremely smooth that is. So what we're going to do now is we're going to kick it up a step. So we're going to add in a can of our cream of chicken. Now, to me, this just helps thicken it up a little bit more, and it adds a really, really beautiful creamy texture to it. I really enjoy adding cream of chicken to my gravies in general. And then we're also going to be adding in a can of cream of mushroom as well, which I also just think is absolutely fabulous. Little fun fact, I'm actually extremely allergic to mushrooms, but for some reason in cream of mushroom, it doesn't bother me at all. I think it's because the mushrooms low-key are probably fake, but that's neither here nor there. But anywho, so now what you're going to do is just completely mix these two things together, and I'm going to tell y'all right now, this right here, this particular gravy recipe, this would work on pork chops. It would work on chicken fried steak. And of course, it'll work on chicken. I'm telling you, this combination of stuff that we got going on right now is just absolutely fabulous. At this point, you can also, taste it, for salt and pepper. Be mindful, as I've said in previous videos, when it comes to salt, you guys, you can always add salt, but it is damn hard to take it away. So be mindful when you are adding a lot of salt to things, because remember, we're going to be pouring this sauce directly over. We're going to be pouring it over our seasoned chicken, which also has salt on it as well. So, you just want to kind of keep all of those things in mind. This is a complete layering process. So as you can see right now, I'm adding in black pepper. I love black pepper in my gravy. And I think I added just like a few pinches of salt, but not that much. And then we're just going to continue to mix this up. I'm going to let it cook for probably about 2 to 3 minutes on a low simmer. I have that chicken back in the oven. That was still baking off the entire time while you're making your gravy. Put that chicken back in the oven, you guys, without the aluminum foil on it. And that'll help to start crisp up your chicken. Okay, so we've just taken our chicken out of the oven. And so now what we're going to do is pour that delicious, my God, this don't make no damn sense. Just look at how the gravy fall on the damn chicken. Jesus. But yes, Lord, just cover the chicken completely with that gravy. And then what we're going to do next is just top it off with a little bit of parsley. And then we are going to pop it back in the oven, continuing at that 350 degrees for about another 25 minutes. And then after that, honey, you have made yourself some smothered damned chicken. Oh my God. I didn't just got hungry all over again. You guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in. All you got to do now is get yourself a nice bowl of rice, honey. Pour yourself a few pieces of chicken and I mean completely drown it in that gravy and have yourself a good old supper. And until next time, y'all baby stay cute and take care. Bye guys.
Simply Food by TY.